out the top 10 worst foods that sabotage your diet, and you'll be surprised on some of the foods on the list. And like most people, I've struggled with losing weight as well. And I've had to learn the hard way why these items sabotage my health and my diet. Like number 10, coffee. Now, if you're a black coffee drinker, then that's not a problem. Coffee is so bitter that I used to put milk, fat, and sugar and enjoyed Starbucks Frappuccinos. This Starbucks Mocha Cookie Crumble Frappuccino has 590 calories, and there are several Frappuccino drinks over 500 calories, each enough to replace a full meal. And I used to buy my Frappuccino at Costco, thinking they were cheaper, but that got me gestational diabetes, even though I quit before I was pregnant. I taught myself how to drink coffee because coffee people seem to live longer, as coffee has polyphenols that reduce inflammation, increase insulin sensitivity, and reduce depression. But that isn't true for all coffees, as dark roasted may have very little benefit. And what's even worse is when you add dairy, you actually reduce that polyphenol content by 90% or more. So I was just drinking junk food. Number 9 are sports and electrolyte drinks. They are not only high in sugar, but they are high in sodium. And few people realize that sodium actually stimulates your appetite and actually causes your own body to make an inflammatory molecule called fructose that damages your liver. Fructose is worse than glucose in terms of inflammation and liver damage. The salt with the fructose interacts to actually elevate your blood pressure even more than the salt by itself. It may be beneficial when you have low blood sugar from diarrhea, but if you aren't sick or are not sweating a whole lot like a professional athlete who works out for hours, you should really avoid salted foods and drinks. The reality is, if you're eating the standard American diet, your salt is already off the charts. And when you have that kind of salt imbalance, it affects your body's normal regulation of salt. And people don't realize our bodies are really designed perfectly for salt regulation and conservation. And unless we're sick or on medications that disturbs this natural balance, we don't need to look for and add salt in our food. Number 8 is pizza, especially pepperoni with sausage. Then you add on extra cheese, and then you sprinkle Parmesan on top. Besides the excess carbs and fat, there's a ton of sodium. And in high school, I used to organize car washes at a pizza place so that we can reward ourselves with pizza afterwards. Pizza is tasty and cheap, and no wonder pizza and breads are the number one way Americans get their salt. Now, salt you would think would make you thirsty and drink more water, but in fact, salt has the opposite effect. It actually makes people less thirsty, and as a result, you get dehydrated. And this activates a cascade of negative events from your liver to your skeletal muscles, which end up promoting muscle loss. Muscle is the most important metabolic organ that you can increase to prevent metabolic diseases like diabetes and gout. Unfortunately, by 40 years of age, we are all losing muscle every year unless we do resistant exercises like squatting and push-ups. Number 7 is ketchup and other sweet sauces like barbecue sauce. Now, I know they are irresistible, and I used to actually eat ketchup with everything, including rice. Sauces are full of salt and sugar, and that's why they make foods taste better and encourage you to overeat highly caloric foods like French fries and chicken wings. Now, really, would you eat as many chicken wings if they were boiled in water? Probably not. Number 6 is fruity yogurts, which can have more added sugar than ice cream. And I used to freeze my yogurt so that it would taste like a popsicle. Added sugar raises your blood sugar and insulin levels, and that makes you pack on fat. If you exercise it off, then it isn't a problem to eat that sugar. I didn't exercise as a kid, as I spent most of my free time watching cartoons. So if you don't use up your sugar, then you pack it on as weight, and that weight is packed on as fat because of insulin. Insulin is a natural hormone that helps you gain weight by storing calories into fat. And you know you're packing on fat when your pants are getting tight. Both proteins and sugars can stimulate the release of insulin, but fat in the muscle and the liver prevents the normal action of insulin. Fat makes the tissues insensitive to insulin, and this phenomenon is called insulin resistance. And you can get fat by eating fat or by overeating in calories. As a response to this imbalance, your body will make more insulin whenever you eat. No matter what is causing the high insulin, whether you are injecting insulin as a medicine or overeating your calories, you will gain weight and fat. Number 5 is zero-calorie sugar substitutes like diet sodas, diet yogurt, diet ice cream, and diet snacks. This is what I ate as a young adult. And I figured, well, I'm not eating sugar, so it must be better. But the problem is, it made me eat more food. And people who eat diet food actually end up compensating by eating more later. And that's what sugar substitutes do. They actually stimulate your appetite to eat more food. Another problem is that because you're tricked your metabolism by giving it something that tastes sweet, but then your body didn't sense the sugar, it actually overcompensates with the insulin secretion when you actually do eat at the next meal. Now remember, insulin is a hormone that makes you gain weight. So the goal is not to have these dramatic surges. Number 4 is fruit bars. These bars are packed with added sugar. This one has 5 different kinds of sugar. There are over 50 names for added sugar: organic, plant-based, and non-GMO sugar. Doesn't make a difference when it comes to your metabolism. They may spike your blood sugar levels differently, but they are all bad for your health when they are consumed in excess. The first ingredient on this bar is flour, which is really sugar. And there's more sugar in flour than there is in table sugar. Flour is made out of amylopectin, which is 3 glucose molecules, whereas table sugar is made out of fructose and glucose, which is just 1 glucose molecule. So you actually spike your sugar higher eating flour than you would eating table sugar. However, fructose is not good for you because it irritates your liver. So if you must eat these foods, please refrigerate them or freeze them overnight so that you can actually reduce the sugar content, because the cold causes a chemical reaction where amylopectin binds to another starch called amylose to make a new molecule called resistant starch that actually won't raise your blood sugar and is healthy for your body. Number 3 is gummy fruit chews and candies, which are the worst candy for several reasons. Gummy candies are often made of corn syrup, which is concentrated fructose. As a result, your body quickly breaks it down into uric acid. Uric acid is not soluble in water and forms needle-like crystals that literally damages your tissue. And when you have enough uric acid buildup, this is called gout. It's very, very painful. Gummy candies also have starch and other added sugars. And in addition, they get stuck to your teeth to constantly feed bacteria in your mouth that causes cavities and gum inflammation. There's over 700 bacteria in your mouth, and depending on what you eat or don't eat, you actually breed different types of bacteria. And if one of them is named Prophriomonas gingivalis, this one is linked to obesity and is known to cause chronic gum inflammation. And guess what? Inflammation promotes fat growth. Number 2 is chocolate. If you actually ate the cocoa bean that makes chocolate, you probably won't gain weight because it is so bitter. But that's not how chocolate is consumed. It's used as a vehicle to deliver fat and sugar. Look at this Hershey's bar. The first ingredient is sugar. Yes, dark chocolate is better since the second ingredient is sugar, but it still has 170 calories. So about 3 squares is like drinking a fancy Starbucks Frappuccino and equal to the amount of calories you should be eating in a full meal. That's a lot of calories for so little food. Number 1 is fake cheese like Cheese Whiz and Velveeta. And I know it's super tasty over nachos. Look at the ingredients. It's basically protein powder and oil, and just 2 tablespoons is 19% of your daily sodium. Remember, sodium stimulates your appetite, increases your body's fructose production, dehydrates you, and encourages muscle loss, which together makes you gain weight. Now, Velveeta is not much better. How can cheese have 18 ingredients? Now, eating the right foods will naturally help protect your metabolism, reduce your inflammation, and crowd out the wrong foods that causes weight gain. And if you want to learn about the top 10 best foods to eat for weight loss, check out the next video.